conference will now be recorded.
Support meeting for high-risk, recurrent, and advanced prostate cancer. Thank you all for joining. I'm moderator Ben Nathanson, and I'm joined by moderators Len Sierra, John Antonucci, and Rick Davis, the founder of AnCan. You'll hear medical issues discussed, but we're just a bunch of guys, and nothing you hear is to be taken as medical advice. Sponsorship for this meeting comes in part from these companies whom we thank: Bayer, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson, Myriad Genetics, Helix, Blue Earth Diagnostics, and Foundation Medicine. So let's begin. We have new participants tonight. Conversations with newcomers lead off our meetings. First, though, for those who only see our recordings, I'd like to briefly announce our newest AnCan group. We're starting a prostate cancer support group for gay and bisexual men. It's planned to begin next month. Moderator will be Alan Edel, who has led a group like this in Southern California for several years, and he's eager to ratchet up to AnCan scale. He knows a huge amount about prostate cancer, and in fact, he sits on AnCan's advisory board. We're excited that he proposed this. The meetings will be at exactly the same time as our second Tuesday meeting. That was the only time that worked for us and Alan. It's not meant to substitute for any of our other meetings, including this one. Pluvicto is Pluvicto, regardless of your sexual preference. And none of the group's meetings will be recorded. I know it's a full night, but I want to reflect a minute on the function a group like this serves. We might imagine it would be similar to like the under 60 group, where concerns focus on day-to-day jobs, family, private insurance. But in this new group, medical issues are likely to be foremost. We're men with prostate cancer have a shared set of concerns, and it's hard to find doctors who understand them and can address them. Being your own best advocate becomes a little harder because it means having to identify yourself as gay. When you're seriously ill, as we are here, you begin feeling connections with people who might otherwise have remained strangers. And I'm putting 2 links in the chat for anyone who wants to know a bit more. They show how a disease that most of us thought we knew can play out so differently for other men. I'll put those on, and if anyone has any questions about the group, speak up.
Yeah, can I also say that this group, like all AnCan groups, is going to be peer-led, and so for anybody listening to this, you'll be talking to peers and also to care partners of gay and bi men about your issues, with people who understand your issues. And as we mentioned earlier on, as Elise said, peers have the very best knowledge. So this is designed to be a peer group for peers to address issues that you really could not address in an open meeting.
Thanks, Rick. Our first newcomer is Eric James. Welcome. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I will ask a few questions, and then the floor will be yours for your questions. How old are you now, Eric?
59.
Where do you live?
In East Texas.
How did you hear of AnCan?
Searching for videos on prostate cancer on YouTube.
How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I'm just recently diagnosed. This is all in the last 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
And I'm not sure this is the group for me or not.
Oh, okay. We'll find out in a minute. What led you to think you had prostate cancer?
Well, the first thing was about the same time I had some blood work done and I had a colonoscopy. and the blood work came up with a PSA of 4.25. And after the colonoscopy, the doctor said they did a DRE and found a nodule. So then I went in to see a urologist and proceeded with more testing.
So, have you had a biopsy yet?
Yes, I can go through. I had a biopsy, had 10 out of 12 cores, were 4 plus 3 Gleason. They did a decipher that was 0.94. Also, since then, I've had several different tests, but the positive ones were an MRI and a PSMA,
Hmm.
and those revealed first bilateral neurovascular bundle invasion, and
Hmm.
also a 7 millimeter lesion on the anterior of L5.
Okay. Um, so, you're definitely in the right group, first of all.
Okay, thanks.
That's sad to say. We welcome you, but none of us want to be here. Um, so, what treatment have you gotten so far?
Nothing. Actually, the results from the PSMA just came in a few days ago, and I haven't even spoken with the urologist. They were planning beforehand to do a prostatectomy,
Hmm.
but when I first got the result from the MRI, the doctor postponed slash canceled the prostatectomy and scheduled the PSMA, and I
Hmm.
haven't spoken with him yet about that.
Yes, this is why everybody should get a PSMA before they get before they get any primary treatment, radiation or prostatectomy, because of what the doctors call futility. It would not help you much at this point. Um, where are you being treated? I forgot to ask.
Well, I went to UT Health in Tyler, or East Texas and Tyler, Texas. But I'm pretty sure for any type of radiation treatment, I'll need to go to Dallas, which I was wondering if anyone would have any recommendations for an oncologist in Dallas.
You will. We'll get to that in a sec. Um, have you had genetic testing?
Just that decipher.
Okay. Okay. Um, do you have a family history of cancer?
Uh, my father had prostate cancer. He had a prostatectomy at age 64. He's now 86 and he's never had a recurrence.
Good.
And finally, are you a vet?
No.
Okay. So, who has ideas about living in Dallas?
I'm sure others will
Alfredo?
comment about Dallas. I just had a quick question, Eric. Since you said you're in East Texas, you didn't mention MD Anderson as an alternative to Dallas.
And that's Houston, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's farther away from me. Dallas would be about an hour and 15 minutes. Houston would be, I think, closer to 3 hours driving.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a possibility, but it's a longer drive.
Yeah, we may come to that later.
Anybody else for Eric?
This is John. The PSMA scan, I assume, also picked up that little metastasis on your spinal bone, and no other spread outside the prostate cancer anywhere?
No, there was nothing picked up.
Okay, so just you got one little spot and a 4+3 and a decipher of 0.94 to
Right.
contend with here. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a really tricky situation, Eric. And actually, we're dealing with somebody else who's somewhat similar. When there's so little cancer outside the prostate, then at some point there's going to be it's going to be raised that we debulk the prostate anyway.
Does that
Which
mean?
would that means that we take the primary tumor out the prostate. The question is when.
Is it a prostatectomy?
It can be done with a prostatectomy or it can be done with radiation.
Okay, right.
Okay, now, if, let's just say for argument's sake, you didn't have the L3, was it L3 or L5? L5, I think you said. Yeah. Let's just say you didn't have that L5 lesion. Then in your situation, we believe, because there are no real numbers on this, that the benefit of the prostatectomy would be about 3 or 4% on top of the radiation.
Yes.
In your case, seeing that we do have an outside lesion and there's only one, then the likelihood is that you're facing a couple of hormone therapy drugs plus spot radiation to that L5 if it's in the suitable position for it. And then the discussion is, well, what about radiation? And it's sort of the oncologist and radiation oncologist call as to when they're going to do that debulking, which means radiating the prostate, or whether you want to do it with a prostatectomy plus radiation. So in order to make those decisions, you really need to be in an expert facility, and your options are either UTSW or MD Anderson. I would say that there is another option that we'll raise with you. There's a very, very strong oncologist, genitourinary oncologist, who's at Houston Methodist and would make a really good quarterback for you and can help you decide where to do the treatments. So we'll go through now. In terms of UTSW, yeah, we do know some of the docs there. Not super impressed for various reasons. We've seen who they treat. I'm trying to remember the name. Let me see if I can give you the name. The guy who does most of the clinical research.
Yeah.
We've seen him with other patients. I wouldn't choose him as my doctor. I don't think he's bad, but we like some of the doctors in in Houston better, and I think probably Dr. Alfredo can address that because it's more his territory. That's sort of why we were steering you away from I don't want to say steering you away from UTSW, but we think you get better treatment there than UTSA or the one in Galveston. I forget what that's called. UT something. I forget what that was.
UTMB, UT Medical Branch.
Yeah, UTMB. I get a bit confused around these UTs. I'm afraid. Anyway, that would be my 2 cents, and I'll tell you the name of we can give you some doctors' names, but let me ask Dr. Alfredo what was on his mind, because he raised this originally.
Well, East Texas is a big term. It covers a lot of territory. And so when I hear the term East Texas, I think, well, Houston is East Texas. So Eric, I pretty much second everything Rick just said. I wouldn't contradict anything he just said. UT Southwestern is not terrible, but it would not be my first choice. And the oncologist that we like at Methodist, which is literally a quarter of a mile down the street from MD Anderson, used to be at MD Anderson, and she's great. And I mean, I'm a general internist, I should say, retired from practice. I'm not an oncologist. I'm not a urologist. I'm not giving medical advice, but I would say having a medical oncologist as your quarterback would be a great, great idea for you. And my other piece of strong advice, which I think many others on this screen would agree, is take geography out as a factor. 4-hour drive, 6-hour drive, 3-hour plane flight, that should not be a factor if you have to go to somebody who really knows what they're doing. And your case is complicated. So you're going to want somebody who's seen patients like you, and that's going to require a major cancer center somewhere in the USA.
Yeah.
And the other reason is that a major cancer center, like what we're talking about, is going to have all the resources. There's going to be a surgeon. There's going to be a medical oncologist. There's going to be a rad onc expert. There's going to be a pharmacist. There's going to be a team. And your main task, as I see it now, and reflecting on my own cancer journey, is picking the quarterback. Any of those could be the quarterback. My leaning for what you've said so far, I think Rick would agree, would be a medical oncologist as the quarterback, and then call on the others as needed, special teams.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. And, so the doc I was trying to remember, the GU med onc I was trying to remember at UTSW is Kevin Courtney. He's good. He's done some good.
What was the last name?
Courtney. It's in the chat. It's in the chat window. So if you open the chat window, there's
Okay.
a bunch of stuff in there, and we're going to put more in there. So keep an eye on it. And by the way, if there's a link in that chat window, you can just click on it. It'll open in your browser, and you can follow it later. You can also download the links, but you have to keep downloading them through the conversation with those 3 little vertical dots, which are next to the push pin. The doctor that Alfredo just put in Kevin Courtney, the doctor that we'd suggest to you, and I think she can guide you to the best radoncs around if you need a radonc, is Eleni Evstathiou. We like her for a number of reasons. I mean, she's exceptionally smart, and she thinks outside the box. And in a situation like yours, that's exactly what we want. We want somebody who's going to think outside the box. She's the sort of doc who might say, you know what? It's not a bad idea if you do surgery. It's going to give you the best benefit. If you went to, say, Maha Hussein, I know these names don't mean anything to you, but she's a very famous doc at Northwestern in Chicago. She's not going to tell you that. But we like Dr. E. We call her Dr. E here. We like Dr. E because she thinks outside the box and she's so damn smart. And there's a bunch of guys, I think, even here today that are Dr. E's patients, and they'll tell you. So let me put, first of all, her, and I would start with her rather than going to a radiation oncologist or a urologist first, because you really need some guidance on the best way to handle this. You can use AnCan's name. Make sure you tell them that you're 59, you just got diagnosed, and you're de novo metastatic with L5. If you've got any issues, you can write to us, and we will reach out to Dr. E, and we will cut through the red tape for you.
Rick,
Okay,
I just put her link as well as Dr. Courtney's link in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you beat me to it. I was just about to do it. But those are all in there, and you can also look at her on our advisory board. And believe me, she's on our advisory board because she's such a terrific doctor. Do we have any Dr. E patients in the room today? Ooh, that's interesting. No. Well, we don't, but we can connect you to Dr. E patients who will talk to you about their experience with her. She's really super.
Okay, thank you.
But there are so many options for you in terms of treatment right now. So, keep coming back to this group. We'll go through all the decisions with you. You're not alone. Maybe 20% of men today on diagnosis are already metastatic. So it's not that unusual. Guys, is there anybody in this room who would like to say anything to Eric about this diagnosis, or how to get treated, or where to get treated, or maybe you didn't do it the right way? Jeff Markey.
Just to mention that while you can go to Houston and talk to the doctor there, who's really fantastic, she can get you some of the services that you need done locally or nearer you. So
Okay.
you don't have to think that you always have to go back there. And after one meeting, you can probably talk to her over video.
All right.
Yeah. And
I would
let me,
like that.
can I just say one quick thing, John, that I meant to say
Yeah.
before? Up until a few months ago, we had an AnCan employee with metastatic cancer, a woman who lived in Palestine, and she chose to get most of her unless it was really sort of an emergency and she had to go to UT Tyler. She was getting almost all her care in Houston rather than in Dallas. She never went to Dallas. She was at
Okay.
MD Anderson, and if anything else cropped up that was outside of that, as it did, she was seeking treatment in Houston. For her, I don't know where you are relative to Palestine, but it was about a 2.5 hour drive for her to go to Houston.
Yeah, I'm about 45 minutes from there.
Okay.
This is John. I had a suggestion and then a question for the whole group. It's probably a good idea for you to get a little bit more further gene testing than you got with the Decipher score. The Decipher score is high, as you know. It predicts that you are likely to have another mutation, and so your treatment is going to be systemic, and you're going to be not sitting back and just watching this. You're going to be going after it. But it would be good to know if there's anything running through your family genes, or even anything in your biopsy sample itself, since you're metastatic, that might have an influence over the choices of treatment. It's easy to get the so-called germline testing. We can put a link in the chat, and you can get a kit sent to you. I think it's still free, right? Have they closed as color?
As far as we know, not, but don't hang about on this. Order the kit today, because they're getting very close to closing it. But I'm just about to put the link in the chat for you, Eric.
Okay.
That would be great. And we'll know if you inherited anything, any vulnerability from your dad. And then there's another kind of genetic test where they actually take a sample from the biopsy and test the genes in the cancer cell itself to see if there's a mutation there that might influence the choices of your future doctor.
Okay.
That you have to ask the doc for. Yeah, and if you go to Dr. E, she's almost certainly going to be ordering that. because that's how she operates. But anyway, Ben, you have some hands up. You're muted, Ben.
But
I'd
he
like
wants to know
to
what
ask
you can give
another
me.
question. Oh, never mind.
Right, right. Yeah, you said you would. What's your other question, John?
I was going to work in another question while you were fiddling with the buttons. We heard a couple of months ago, speaking of getting your care from far away, that Medicare was going to stop paying for video visits as of October 1st. Has anybody heard anything?
So all we know is that it's not they're going to stop. It's that the telehealth sunsets next week, and there's been, I don't know when it's being discussed, but there have been a number of organizations who have now submitted, and we've signed on to a couple of
No,
those.
no. Doesn't make any sense.
Hold on a minute. I don't know who that was who was talking, but we know that AUA has submitted something. We hope Zero's submitted something, but I've certainly got my knuckles wrapped and got into hot water for criticizing Zero for not having done that. But frankly, Zero has a $500,000 to $1 million government advocacy organization. They represent us as prostate cancer men, and they certainly should have submitted something independent of AUA. I hope they have, but I can't. I don't know for a fact. I've not received anything from them. We've asked the association, ACCC, which is the Association of Community Cancer Centers, to submit something. I saw another big organization that said that they had put something in. So there's been a lot of lobbying going into the representatives and the committee, but as yet we have not heard if it's extended. Now, Dr. John, in Eric's case, I don't think he's on Medicare because he's only 59. So that won't matter. But for many of us, we do want to see an extension.
I forgot that. Good.
Okay, Bob Schwartz, your hand is up.
Yeah, Eric, I just want to tell you, I'm sort of new to this group. I haven't been here a full year, but I will tell you this. I was lost when I first got my diagnosis, and you're confused. You don't know where to do, where to turn. This group has the wisdom and the confidence that they can give you and direct you in the right place. Unfortunately, I went to two facilities that I was very dissatisfied with, and then the group recommended another doctor, and I've been satisfied ever since, and I'm happy that they recommended him. And just listen to the wisdom. These people have experienced it. You're going to get the knowledge here from people that have had good and bad. So they're going to give you the best they can. And please listen to it. And also look at the old videos online, too. They can help you out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Phil Seneca, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just want to say to Rick that the PROMISE study is still going on. I just received my kit last week. So as far as I know, Eric still has availability to get into the PROMISE study.
Right. Now, Eric, I will tell you the PROMISE study is the actual test is done by color. It's not a huge panel, meaning it doesn't cover a whole lot of genes. There are some genes we know it doesn't cover, like NBN, but it's free, it's readily available whilst you're messing around. Some docs may want to repeat it with a bigger panel, but it's close enough for government work. Dr. Russell just got it. That's what I got, that test. A whole bunch of us have gotten that test, and you can't beat the price. You'll get a kit in the mail, you'll do a mouth swab, you'll send it off, and God forbid they find anything, they'll give you it includes a session with a genetic counselor. So whilst you're trying to get everything else in order, it would be a very, very good thing to do.
Okay, great.
And it's sponsored by Fred Hutch, which is the University of Washington, and Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, that was a good suggestion, John. Anybody else for Eric? Or Eric, you have any last questions?
I guess maybe the only thing is as I'm trying to educate myself about treatments, one thing that I've seen that I'm a little wary of is with long-term ADT treatment developing a resistance. I wonder if anyone have any thoughts about that, about the length of treatment.
Len, you want to weigh in?
Sure. So Eric, for someone like you with de novo metastatic disease, the recommendation would be for a minimum 18 months of ADT, um, a testosterone suppressor, but also an androgen receptor blocker, a second drug, would also be recommended. So those two. And what was the other part of your question?
No, my question was regarding the length of continuous treatment and the possibility of developing resistance.
Resistance, right.
Treat
Okay.
resistance.
So, yeah. I don't, it's funny. I've seen so many videos or information sources where they say you typically become resistant after 2 or 3 years of hormonal therapy. That's certainly not uh, mirrored in this group. Quite a few of us here, myself included, I started hormonal therapy in 2014. I'm still sensitive to it. I've taken a few drug holidays in between, and it's very controversial as to whether or not the intermittent therapy um, extends your hormone sensitivity or not. But whether it does or it doesn't, you do get the benefit of having a bounce back in your testosterone, improving your bone health, your cardiac health, uh, no more hot flashes, at least for a while. So there are lots of benefits to doing it that way. But no one can tell you how long you will remain sensitive. Everybody's different, and there's no way to predict that.
Okay.
Rick, who's our guy who was on or is on ADT for 20 years? The celebrity.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't. I need a clue.
The founder of PCF, he's been on
Oh,
Lupron. What's
Milken.
his name? Mike Milliken. He's been on continuous ADT therapy since the 1990s. I learned this from Dr. O when he was at PCF, and he told me, and he said, "This is public information. I'm not, revealing anything, patient confidentiality." But he said he probably doesn't need to be on it. I'm sure his testes are no longer capable of pumping out any testosterone at this point, but he has stayed on it.
Len, that's fascinating. I wonder if he's had any drug holidays, even.
According to Dr. O, he has not.
Oh.
So David Muslin reminds me, Eric, that qualify for our under 60 support group.
Okay.
David, that's just prostate cancer. Rick, it's prostate cancer support group, right? For under
Yes.
60.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the under 60 support group is a much, much smaller group than this. It varies between about 3 and 10 people. Usually international. We usually have at least one gent from Australia that's in there. Possibly a guy from Germany who's more recently diagnosed. And it really focuses on a lot of the issues that younger men face with an advanced diagnosis. Work issues, family issues, how do you tell your kids and stuff like that. We also do talk about treatment in there. The guys like to talk about treatment, but it is a very good group. It's now moderated by Bill Franklin, who I think is now 62, but he was diagnosed at 52. So, and I will sign you up for that, so you'll get a reminder. It's the second Tuesday, the second Thursday of each month in this room, starting at 6 o'clock Central.
Okay.
But we send you a reminder because we don't expect you to remember that.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Well, thank
Good
you
to
all
see
very
you
much.
again.
I'll see you
Yeah,
again.
Let me
good.
talk about castrate resistance for a moment. I've had my hand up.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I've been on ADT for 9 years, but I became castrate resistant 2.5 years in. The average is 18 to 30. But if you're on an ARSI, it tends to delay the castrate resistance for quite a few years. So that was mentioned to you. That's Zytiga or one of the lutamides, apalutamide, enzalutamide, or duralutamide, which I've been on. But while I did become a castrate resistant after 2.5 years, and the median survival once you become castrate resistant is 2 years, it's been 6 years for me. The drugs we have today are pretty damn good, and they're getting better. So if you're on ADT plus an ARSI, it's really not as much of a thing to worry about, at least for 4 or 5 years. So that's
Okay.
I've actually been doing a test with apalutamide. I know some people on it, but I would prefer daralutamide since it has fewer side effects. It doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier. But those are just some things to consider.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. We do need to move on. Next up is Richard from Virginia. Richard, want to call? No. Okay.
Oh, there I am.
Okay.
Oh, mine was real short. I just wanted to say I got on the Pluvicto a week ago, had the first treatment, and other than fatigue and I had to urinate a lot, uh, there's been no real side effects at all. Just moving along. Ben, I know you were
Oh, yes. Yes.
starting about
Yes.
the same time.
Yes. Yes. I haven't started yet. I have yet to taste the thrills, but it's interesting to hear from you.
Yeah. Uh, you just have to get used to the radiation safety guy um, uh, trying to figure out how much you're going to give off. But,
Yes. Yes. My daughter's pregnant, so I'm going to pay close attention to him or her.
oh, yeah. I have
Oh,
18 years.
Grandpa, you kept that one quiet.
We have
Oh,
just started
Congratulations,
developing.
Ben.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Ben, I think we have a few more new men before we go to
Yes,
the.
yes, yes. I slipped up and started going down the
But
pluses
that
instead
was
of the news.
basically all I had to say.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks for the update. Michael Wolf, you are new, so I'm going to ply you with the same questions that I
Yeah,
asked Eric.
sure.
So, how old are you now?
I'm 71.
And where do you live?
I live in the Metro Detroit area.
How did you hear of AnCan?
I was out in LA 2 weeks ago at the PCR meeting, and it's a pleasure to meet a few people there. And I think I met briefly, talked briefly to Rick, and I signed up on one of the sheets there, and here I am.
I'm glad you came.
Thank you. I'm glad too.
So, how old, Richard? How old, Michael, were you when you were diagnosed?
Well, I was diagnosed 10 years ago and was diagnosed with a 3+4
Mm-hmm.
and decided at that time to have focal treatment. I had
Mm-hmm.
focal treatment of that 3+4 lesion with irreversible electroporation, IRE or nanoknife.
Mm-hmm.
That was done in Germany, and I've been basically watched ever since. So I saw last biopsies were done in 2019. That was done by Dr. Bond in Ventura. He kind of
That was, I'm
did
sorry,
this.
you were biopsied based on what? Why were you biopsied then?
He
Was that
he
just to
basically
schedule a follow-up?
he basically rebiopsied that area because there was still something to be seen on the MRI, and he
Okay.
rebiopsied some other areas which he thought were suspicious. But it was still coming back as 3+4, but only with 5% in 2 cores, and then the other ones were 3+3. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, it was decided to monitor with PSMA PET scans. I had my first one in 2018 and
Mm-hmm.
had one ever since, every other year, and then MRI in between. So everything was stable till 2024. Had my PSMA so far had always been negative for distant metastases.
Mm-hmm.
My last MRI was in 23, and that one was still static. So I was told that everything's static, everything's quiet. We don't
Oh,
have to make any changes. We can do PSAs every 6 months instead of every 3 months, and my PSAs were going up,
mm-hmm.
but still, it was felt that that was not unusual, and we can still kind of continue with that regimen. So I had an MRI done about 2 weeks ago, and that one showed a new lesion, which never there before, in a different area, and it's a PRADS 5.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And I had to actually send my MRI into Prostate ID after the presentation on AnCan, and they sent it back after 5 minutes. I had that report back, and within their score, it's at 70, whatever that means at the scale of up to 100. So it seems to be a fairly aggressive lesion. It's described as being has broad attachment to the capsule and with possible extension through the capsule.
Mm.
So that's kind of where it stands. And what I did so far, I organized another PSMA, which I have in October 17, and we'll see what that brings, and then go from there.
So I
Was
don't.
this
Go
was this
ahead.
within the capsule? The new lesion that they saw, from what you're saying, was inside the capsule. Is that right?
No, they're saying it has broad attachment to the capsule.
Okay.
And with likely extension through the capsule, likely it says. So, of course, I'm quite upset because it was quiet for so long. Going back and looking at my last PSMA PET scan, which was a year ago, it says no metastases, but apparently they already saw a second lesion in the PSMA in the prostate, which they didn't see on the PSMA scan 2 years prior. So that might have been already been, or might be the precursor to what they're seeing now on the MRI. I wish, my doctor would have told me that and possibly said, well, let's do an MRI. Let's not wait another year for an MRI. Let's do an MRI right away. But that did not happen. So
Did I ask your PSA?
my PSA currently is 18.22.
When when the doctor said you should wait and just look at your PSA and it was rising, what were the numbers then?
Well, I can tell you what the numbers were. I have them all written down. But like when we did in 23, when I did my last, let me just pull it up here that I tell you the truth. So in 23, when I had my last MRI, it was at 11.4. And then, in 24, a year later, it was up at 16. And then later in the year, it went down again in October, down to 11. And, that was last year. And then this year in May, it peaked up to 18. So, unfortunately, I was never told about prostate PSA density. It's something I learned about at the last meeting out in LA. But I just am very disappointed that that action was not taken earlier.
Yes, yeah, I can understand that. Where were you getting care?
I'm not sure if I should say that.
Oh, what?
Prostate
That's
oncology specialists and Santa Monica in Delray and where it is. So Dr. Schultz in wherever it is.
Yeah, and what about locally, Michael? Who are you seeing?
I have not used anybody locally. I've been working basically with prostate oncology for the last 10 years.
Okay.
I reached out to Michigan U of M now.
Yep.
This is where I had my last PSMA test, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job. And so this is where I have my next one scheduled. But this is usually all orchestrated, from California, and they send the referral there. So, but I'm not sure really where to go in regards to, any further decision making.
Do you have a doc? Do you have a doc at U of M?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, I would say, given that what you're dealing with is a recurrence that is in the prostate and may have gone through the wall, and we don't see any lymph nodes involved, and we don't see any bone involvement, which is all very positive for you. My strong suggestion would be for you at this time to see Todd Morgan.
Okay.
Dr. Todd Morgan, Morgan.
Okay.
I'll put his thing. He's in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
He's a urologic oncologist. He is terrific. He's got great knowledge. He will refer you on as required. And I would start with Dr. Morgan. He knows AnCan real well. He's done webinars for us and what have you. He knows me. And just tell him that we've recommended you. Cannot tell you. He may roll his eyes a little bit around Schultz. Don't be surprised if he does. But there are good people there. We've referred a couple of people to the medical oncologist there, but I don't know that you're ready to see the medical oncologist. Dr. Alfredo is really on the ball today. He's already posted Dr. Todd's link in there for you.
See it. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you.
I think you'll really like, if you want to see him in action, go on to our website and just search for Todd Morgan, and you'll see him delivering a webinar last year on all the different genetic profilers like Decipher and Polaris and everything like that. But it'll give you a feel for what he, for how he comes across. You may not like him. I don't think that's going to be the case, but he's really good. And U of M is very, very good, certainly at the level of active surveillance and for low and intermediate and even some high risk treatment. They don't have a stronger GU MedOnc staff as they used to. Some people have left, but you're not there yet, thank God. So that would be our suggestion for you to start. And if you have any issues, let us know, let me know, and we have ways of getting to Dr. Todd in a hurry.
Okay.
It's not me, it's not me, but there's somebody here who can email him or text him and gets a response right away, and I know who that person is. So we can do that.
Things go very, very slow at U of M. It's
right.
Right.
And we also have somebody who has really been a major donor for us, who has a tremendous amount of pull at has set up professorships at U of M. So AnCan can get things done at U of M for you, and I wouldn't hesitate. I get your ass over to get your tush over to Ann Arbor as quickly as you can, and get in to see. If that doesn't work, we've got other names for you there too. But my choice would be more.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to get in with him, and if I need help, then I
let us know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Dr. John, you've been waiting.
Michael, can you or somebody else in the group explain to me how to interpret a score of 70 on a Prostate ID? Is that like out of 100 or on a risk scale, or what does that mean?
It's a risk scale. Yeah, this is their own kind of risk scale they have. Apparently goes till 100, and what that exactly is based on, I don't know, but it's based on their algorithm they have, how that artificial intelligence kind of computer reads your MRI, and they generate basically a 3D picture, with the tumors they identify with it, and then they grade them with this 1 to 100 type of number.
Okay.
Stuart Jordan, do you know anything more about that the Prostate ID risk scale?
Yeah, I think it's pretty well described. It's they took 0 to 1 and turned it into 0 to 100. I didn't get any more sense of detail from from Randy during the session.
Okay. And Dr. John, we can set up a meeting with Mike Crosby for you to learn more about that.
I did watch their presentation.
Okay.
But I didn't pick up anything about how to read a scale, what the scale was. So thank you, Rick.
Anybody else for Michael? Or Michael, do you have any more questions?
No, I
Is
think I don't have any.
Michael a good fit for this group?
I don't. I kind of, you know, it's tricky.
Rick,
It's a very,
I was in the other group last week. You told me to come in this group.
and they told you to come in this because you have recurrence. And
Yeah, because of
I
that,
right,
so we'll
where's
see.
Julian? Where's
Yeah.
our man Julian? There he is. Julian. Julian. Turn your mic on there, man. There
Yeah, I'm
you
here.
go. Now, you had focal treatment and you had a recurrence. Do you think Michael should be in this group? What do you think?
He's on the edge, but I think he's been pushed over the edge. So I think he should stay in this group. He'll get more from this group than he would the other one. So I'd keep him in this group.
Okay. So there
This
you
is an
have.
advanced group,
Yeah.
So some of the things you hear can get pretty eerie sometimes, but we'll give you good advice and recommendations. But you're in a good group.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
It's not unusual. We do have a bunch of gents who come back in, like Julian, with recurrence because they had focal therapy to begin with. A lot of it is defined as to how extensive the recurrence is. And you're right on the edge, as you know, but hopefully we're catching you in time. Hopefully Dr. Morgan's going to catch you in time and give you a lot of comfort.
Thank you. Is it unusual that the recurrence is in a completely different area?
No. A different area of the prostate? No. But the
Yeah.
other thing I would say to you, and I know we got to move on, Ben, but I would say to you, when we interpret PSMA scans around lesions inside the prostate, it's very sketchy.
That's based on
Not,
MRI.
it's not like a PSMA lighting up in a lymph node or in like Eric James's L5, because all of that prostate tissue is susceptible to making PSMA.
Yeah.
And it's really the more advanced cancer cells that are lighting up, but we don't know well enough to know exactly where it is with the PSMA scans are great for outside the prostate. They're not so great for inside the prostate.
Okay. Thank you.
So I just want to take a minute to talk to people who came late, newcomers. Jason and Dan, are you new to this group?
Yes, and I apologize
Yes.
for being late. I laid down and fell asleep, and I woke up. It was 6:15. So, yeah. Currently, I am
Hold
stage.
on, Dan. Hold on. Let Ben finish, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sadly, the window closes at 6:10, so that's when we start recording, and that's when all our newbies are clocked in. And even, unfortunately, even if you had been punctual, we don't have the time really to talk to more than 3 in a single meeting. So Rick has already offered to, well, what we usually say to people is to come again next week, and you will be given priority. And of course, you're welcome to stay, but you won't have, ordinarily in the course of the meeting, you won't have an opportunity to share your story.
But yes, Ben, you can volunteer me. I will stay late and we will do an intro on any newbies that we didn't get to if they want, or they can come back next week. So for Jason, for Dan, for Bruce, I'll stay as long as it takes.
There's no
Now,
meeting next week.
and next week there's no meeting. Yes.
So there will be a queue, and it might be a lengthy one, but yes,
Right.
Rick is a superhero.
And can we just say, and I'm going to put the registration in there. Next Tuesday, we have a webinar with Dr. Jonathan EPSTEIN, who is the preeminent genitourinary pathologist in the world, I would say. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that statement. He's going to be talking not just about early diagnoses and crib reform, but he's also promised that he's going to address some of our more advanced men who are sending him tissue to see if he sees any small cell disease in there, because of course you won't see it from you won't know through a blood biopsy, but you will know through a tissue biopsy if things are changing. You can ask him questions. I think either Ben or Len are going to be on the panel to pick out the advanced questions for us. Dr. John's hosting, and I'll put information on that in the chat window momentarily.
So, Jason, of course, that goes for you too. I know you came with Elise.
Yes, thank you.
You can stay tonight. You can come to the next meeting, or of course you can call me during the week, because you have my info.
Okay.
Be happy,
Yeah,
delighted.
I might just do that.
Sure. I look forward to it.
Yeah, I had surgery on Thursday, so I'm at home recovering now anyway.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So, Jason, if you just had surgery, do you know that you're metastatic or not?
Yes, I am metastatic.
You are clearly metastatic. Okay. All right. Come on back here. And that's good for Eric to hear, because as you see, Eric, sometimes it happens. So there we go. Okay.
Yep.
With the proviso that, of course, as we keep reminding ourselves, it's not actually next week.
Yeah,
2
it's not
weeks.
next week. It's you're going to be with me, and that's going to be, I'm leading that group. It'll be the 6th of October.
My
We'll
wedding
sign you up,
anniversary.
Jason. Make sure you put your email in the chat window so we can sign you up, so you get a reminder.
I will do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our last newcomer of the evening, John Biscaduros. So I have, as you know, some questions for you.
Sure.
How old are you now, John?
68,
And where do you live?
Fairfax, Virginia.
How did you hear of AnCan?
I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Jim Marshall, and he hooked me up with the group here.
That is a good
Thanks,
connection.
Jim.
Thanks, Jim. How old were you when you were diagnosed?
That was 2018, so I would have been just about 60.
What led you to think you had prostate cancer?
Urinary issues, things like that. Went in to see a urologist, did a biopsy, came out positive with a Gleason score of 4 and 4. Elected to go with the robotic prostatectomy in January of 2019. I mean, that went well. I went skiing in Breckenridge in February, in fact. Came back and had a couple of PSA tests following, and PSA was still coming up. So went through the radiation at that point. The 38-day targeted from April to June of 2019. Shame on me. I dropped the ball during COVID and didn't keep up with some of my appointments. I started having some back pain in 2022, I think it was. It took me almost 3 months to go through. I went to see my primary care. They give you the Flexerol for the back pain. Then I did an X-ray, which showed negative. Finally got an MRI in January of 2023, and that's when I found out it was metastatic. The pain was caused by numerous
prostate cancerous tumors along my spine. Sent me right to the emergency room, and have been really under pretty good care ever since. I'm seeing her name is Dr. Yu, that's Y-U, at the Shar Cancer Clinic here in Fairfax, Virginia. That's part of Innova system. I've been on the hormonal therapy PSAs over the past year. We're hovering around 6 or 7. My last one was in 13 August, which was a 4.7. So they're still coming down slowly. And her approach is, as long as it's working, don't mess with it if it ain't broke. As soon as things turn around, I think it was Lynn, I'm not sure, but ADT resistance or whatever it's called. If and when it does happen, then we'll look at other options. But
what is your?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What does your hormone therapy consist of? Are you just getting Lupron shots or anything else?
I was on Lupron before. I've gone off that. I'm doing Eligard every 3 months, and Zometa for bone. I guess it's bone protection. I'm also doing the I call it the Xtandi is the brand name.
Okay.
And Zalidudamide, and that's 160 milligrams every day. So those are my current medications.
Okay. Yeah, that's the enzalutamide is what we were hoping to hear.
Okay.
You should be getting that in addition to the or a drug like that in addition to the Lupron. So that is
Right.
good. Had you been checking your PSA annually?
I had one back in 2022, and again, attention to detail on my part. My primary caregiver, somebody from the front office called and said your PSA is slightly elevated. I should have been smart enough to ask some more detailed questions and look into it. But and then until I started having the back pain in late 22, and then everything else just came out. And in fact, when I went to the emergency room, I was off the charts. They said it was over 1,000. My next check was around 79. About a month later, after I started 82. So
yeah,
you are your own advocate, and keep up with it. Don't let something as simple as COVID get in the way.
Yeah. That was my downfall. Slightly elevated and a failure to follow through.
Yes, sir.
Have you had any genetic testing?
I did. That was in July of 2023. I'm not sure what this means, but I'm a carrier of a single MUTYH mutation, and the mutation is P.R245H, if that means anything to anybody here. But because I'm a carrier of a single mutation, they said it's not significant as far as my prostate cancer.
Yeah, does that name ring a bell to anyone? I have not. I've heard that name, but I don't.
Yeah, we've seen MUTYH recently. I'm trying to think where, but Ben, I was going to ask you, Professor.
Yeah, the testing was done by Ambry Genetics. I'm not sure.
Right.
How well known they are.
Started with colorectal.
Yeah, colorectal. I was going to ask. Thanks, Dr. Jack. I was going to ask Dr. Paul if he knows anything about MUTYH.
Do not.
Okay.
What little I know about MUTYH is it's a colorectal thing, and if you have the normal gene, it's cancer protective. So I'm guessing that John has an abnormal MUTYH gene. That means he's high risk. And I think we're going to see more and more of these genes that are unpronounceable, but they all of them are going to be high risk, low risk of various things in the future.
I know where I've seen it. I just checked. the general has MUTYH, but he's not on today. So we keep coming back, John, and we have a gent who's often on here, Joel Blanchette, who Jim knows well. Captain Jim knows well. He's a retired general, and he has MUTYH. And he will be able to tell you everything you ever wanted. Knowing the general, he'll be able to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about MUTYH, is my guess. What do you say, Captain Jim?
I'll quote you something that I'm just looking up now. It says, people with a mutation in only one copy of their MUTYH gene do not develop MUTYH-associated polyposis and are not considered to be at increased risk for colorectal cancer. So we can pretty much disregard it as far as the individual person is concerned. Of course, if his offspring inherits one from each side, it'll be a different story.
That's right. So I don't think we don't think you have too much to worry about, which is exactly what you heard, John. So there you go. But you can still talk to the general. The general doesn't the general live in Fairfax as well? He does. You'll have coffee with him. Captain Jim will make sure. And listen, if there's food involved and someone else is paying, Captain Jim will be there too. So Captain Jim will make a meeting between you and the general and himself. Right, Jim?
Yes, absolutely. And also for all of the new people, if you are a veteran, then we do have a veteran support group, and I happen to run it. So it is
very well.
Right.
You happen to run it very well.
Veterans at AnCan.org.
Right. And if anybody has the strength, it's going to be starting in about half an hour, and they can go straight from this meeting over to the AnCan Schmier room. Captain Jim will put that link in the window, and you can go straight from here to there, and you can find out how much money you're not getting and should get.
No. Actually, it is Veterans Speaking Freely.
Oh, it's Veterans Speaking Freely today.
Night.
Excuse me.
It is all of your emotional problems, PTSD. Yeah.
Well, you just wander over there afterwards. It's Dr. John who's going to be leaving early. I forgot, not you.
Yeah.
How about any DEXA scans, John?
I'm sorry, I'm not even sure what
bone mineral density scans.
Yes. I'm doing those every 6 months.
Oh, that's pretty frequent.
Yeah.
And how does it look?
Everything's been fine so far. No increased tumors. Tumor size has been reduced, which is relieved my back issues, the pain in my back. And until we see any additional growth, we'll just keep going as it is.
And are you talking about bone scans or DEXA scans?
I do a bone scan and a nuke PET scan every 6 months.
Oh yes, but I think he's talking about a technetium scan. What we're talking about.
I think that's right. Yeah. Yes.
So what we're talking about is how good is your bone density? Has Dr. Yu looked at your bone density?
That my understanding is that's what one of the scans does for me, the CT scan, and that's why I'm on the Zometa as well to ensure I don't lose any bone density.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that that you're not at risk for a fracture in your back.
Okay. Okay. Understand. I'll ask that at my next appointment here in another month.
Yeah, good question.
Any other questions or advice?
Yeah, Jim.
Some of my associates here, we have a theory. You want a doctor that's old enough to have been around the block a little bit, but not so old that they're stuck in their ways. And she is right in that window. I think she's experienced enough, but she's also energetic enough to keep up with her research. Yeah. And she's suggested a couple of trial studies that I've not quite been approved for, but as things change, if they get worse at some point, then we'll relook at those again in the future.
Jim, go ahead.
Yes, John. How's the word? The Lupron shot is the same, okay, as the Eligard shot. It is exactly the same drug. Okay. And then a question for you: how often are you getting your PSA test and the blood work and possibly a testosterone test?
Every 3 months. My understanding was I was doing the Lupron on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And then,
yeah.
And then they switched to Eligard, which was a 3-month infusion.
Well, actually, they are both. There's a 1, 3, 4, and a 6-month shot.
Okay.
I did a 3-month and a 4-month, and it's essentially the same drug except Lupron's in the hip, and I believe Eligard's within and with the belly fat.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly
I get the Eligard
right.
I got every 3 months in the belly.
Okay. Okay, fine.
But the PSA checks every 3 months, and like I said, the past year is hovering around 7 or 8, and my last one was 4.7, so it looks like it's still coming down.
How long have you been on that drug, offhand? Lupron, Eligard, who cares?
Yeah, since January 2023 is when I started.
2023. It took mine to drop about 13 months, but yours hasn't dropped in quite a long time. Is that an issue, guys, or not?
You got to remember too, when I started, they said I was off the charts. It was
oh, sure,
up above 1,000, and a month later, 2 months later, it was down to 79, and it's been steadily coming down. It just kind of leveled off around the 6 to 7 mark, and my last one in 13 August was 4.7.
Okay.
And your question, Jim, also relates to, I wonder what the testosterone level is. I mean, my guess is because the PSA was not suppressed fully, maybe or maybe not, that means the testosterone was not suppressed fully. It would be nice to see that PSA level get lower.
Yeah, testosterone has also been dropping. I think my last blood test, I was down at a 4.
Oh, yeah, good.
And that also was the lowest that I've had since I started treatment.
And just a reminder, we didn't say to Eric, I thought Jim Marshall was going to say it, but Eric, before you start any hormone therapy drugs, please be sure to get a baseline testosterone. If your doctor argues with you, insist on it.
Absolutely.
It's really, really important to know where your starting point is.
John, did anybody talk to you when they first put you on the hormonal therapy? Did they talk to you about adding chemotherapy at all? Because by the standards of care today, you would have qualified as a strong candidate for triple therapy, which is the two hormonal therapies plus chemotherapy. Was that ever discussed?
It was discussed, and her recommendation, Dr. Hughes, was that if I continue to see progress, which I have been, then we'll save that in our hip pocket if we need it for later on.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not a doc, but we've seen a lot of cases, and I think the reason that your PSA has not gone below 5, that's probably the reason. You said you didn't exactly say how many, but I'm assuming there were more than 5 lesions on your spine. And Len's absolutely right. It should have been triple therapy, and triple therapy could well have brought you down. And I might want to get a second opinion, because I have a concern, to be honest, John, that you've been on this and you haven't dropped below 5.
Sure.
And your most recent PSMA, did that show metastasis in the spine still? When was your last PSMA?
I don't recall. I'd have to check my records. I think it was only a few months ago, maybe back in June.
Mm-hmm.
No, May.
And did it show anything?
No increased lesions, no increased size on the current tumors.
Right, but were the lesions still there?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I would, if it were me, here's what I'd be doing. I'd be going over to Channing Paller at Sibley and getting a second opinion as to whether you're a candidate for chemo, because I really do have a concern that you haven't dropped below 5 after 2 years. That's not a great sign. And I think that you have to take this in hand before it takes you in hand. And you need a second opinion, and you can get that from Dr. Paller, who Captain Jim knows well enough. He can tell you how to do that. But that would be our take-home message. It's time to get a second opinion and see if you need more than just enzalutamide. Was there a reason she didn't put you on abiraterone first?
I'm not familiar with that, so
okay. So she didn't discuss abiraterone. Normally, the better sequence is to go with an ADT drug and the abiraterone. Did she put you on bicalutamide before she on Casodex before she gave you the Lupron shot?
No, I don't believe so.
These are all.
No, wait a minute. Casodex sounds very familiar.
Okay,
I might have had that when I was in the first few months there.
Yeah.
I think I did have that actually.
Yeah, they just do that to protect, but that's good. But get a second opinion. That it's time for a second opinion. Either go to Dr. Paller, or if you want to get in the car and drive, go over to Duke. Go to Raleigh and go over to Duke.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Dr. Paul, did you have your hand up?
It was to ask that similar question, and just to ask if you had any radiation to any of the bone metastases when they were symptomatic.
No, the radiation was just in the I don't know what you call it, the prostate void.
Okay.
During the surgery, I also had some seminal vesicles removed, and I think that's where the residual cancer was that before it started spreading.
It's a really good point. That's another very good point that Dr. Paul makes, that standard of care would probably have been to have shot your lesions with what we now call metastatic directed therapy. It's just a fancy term for spot radiation. wondering why that didn't happen. So again, you don't have pain right now, but I think that I don't know Dr. Yu. I don't know if she's a GU medical oncologist or if she's a general medical oncologist at Innovashar. I know there are GU medical oncologists that we've worked with there, but I haven't heard her name before. My concern, if she's not, is why they didn't put you with a GU doc. I think you need to go over and see Dr. Pala.
Okay.
Bob Schwartz, your hand is up.
John, hi. I'm Bob Schwartz. I'm a Navy vet too, so go Navy. But other than that, your symptoms seem to like mirror mine, except I didn't have the robotic surgery, but I had triplet therapy, and it made a big difference. I know the pain you must be going through your back. I couldn't stand, sit, lay down, or anything. It was miserable. But the triplet therapy, getting 3 at one time, not waiting, made a big difference, and it dropped my PSA down to almost non-negligible. It's unbelievable, the triplet therapy versus doing doublet or getting monotherapy.
Gotcha. I'll definitely look into that and ask for a second opinion.
And like Rick said, I would recommend you go see a GU. If you're not seeing a GU, like my first one I went to wasn't a GU, and I refer to that doctor as a witch doctor. No disrespect, but you know what they were going to do. Yeah, it was funny unless you're the victim. I could tell. I laugh about it now, but I couldn't laugh then. It scared the heck out of me. And then the second one was bad too. So sometimes you got to go through some bad ones, but listen to the advice you get here. Seriously, you get good advice, John. And I wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
I'm just looking up Dr. Shah, and yes, she is a GU. She is considered to be a GU doc. The clinical interests are bladder, kidney, prostate, and testicular, but I don't really get the treatment path. So again, do yourself a favor. Captain Jin will sort you out on that one.
Will do. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John. So, brace yourselves. We're just now starting on the new guys. I'm sorry. We're just now starting on the old guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys want to speak. So, if you want to reconsider, you're all welcome to. Save it for next week. Steve L., you're next.
Yes, had a PSA today, which was a slight move up from 4 weeks ago. It had been going down since the radiation ended. And yeah, most recently 0.15. Dr. Fong suggested just doing the PSA 3 months from now. Given the slight upward trend, I'm a little hesitant to do that, and just wanting your thoughts. That's it.
So what was your PSA? The last PSA I have for you was 0.28, Steve. So
yeah, okay. July 0.28. The end of July 0.16. August 27th 0.11, and then today 0.15.
you know, these small changes in somebody who's had cancer of your nature, I think we've got to see sort of more of a trend. That would be my, and I think I would rely on Dr. Fong. And anybody else?
I'd say 0.11 to 0.15. That's the statistical blip. You know, it's nothing.
Okay, so the last three have basically been the same number. Yeah. 0.16, 0.11, 0.15. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Appreciate the thoughts.
Thank you, Steve. Dr. Jack, it's your turn.
I'll make it fast. So I saw my medical oncologist yesterday. I've been on a drug holiday for 6 months. Good news, PSA was non-detectable. And it was late in the day last night that I got my testosterone. I was talking about, he said to me, you know, you're an old guy, you're 86 years old, those testicles aren't going to recover very well. I mean, even though I was on Orgovix and my testosterone 2.5 years ago was 735, he said, yeah, it may take a year. So surprisingly, and I was delighted, last night I got my results of testosterone. It was 10.7. Nothing very robust, but it says there's some life in my balls. So I felt kind of, you know, good about that. You know, at this age, you take any little bit you can get. So that felt good. And you know, I'm of course hoping that my PSA stays non-detectable. My testosterone can rise as much as possible, and I can feel robust before I have to go back on medication. My biggest concern is my this problematic absolute neutrophil situation, which I was feeling hopeful about because it got up to 1.83 last time 2 months ago, and now it's back down to 1.46. And I said, I'm just worried about a little marrow depression, something going on there. But he said he doesn't think so because my hematocrit and my platelets are not congruent with the fall in my neutrophils. So he would just as soon watch and wait and not go rushing into seeing a hematologist or having to get a bone marrow biopsy or anything like that to see if there's anything to be concerned about. I do have CHIP mutations, if you know what that is, clonal hematopoiesis of indeterminate potential, which can predispose one to a blood situation, a blood dyscrasia or something. And I hope this is not a harbinger of what's to come down the road. The other thing is the alkaline phosphatase, which continues to rise exponentially, but not to a point that he's concerned about, but I get concerned. But, you know, it's gone from like 83 over the past year and a half up to 136. But he's not concerned. He said, let's just watch it. I guess he's not concerned because it's not his body, but it's my body, so I'm concerned. But he said, we can always look at, you know, looking at what's going on with the bone metabolism. And I looked that up in terms of something called bone-specific isoforms, where you can differentiate whether or not it's a anabolic or catabolic situation, whether or not it's bone turnover or metastasis or osteoporosis or who knows what's going on. But he says it's too early to have to jump on that. And the other thing I learned that I found quite interesting, which was new for me, because when I was in medical school, I do remember Clomid being used for women who wanted to procreate, have children, stimulate their ovaries. And he's telling me, you know, if you're discouraged about your testosterone not coming back, we can give you Clomid. I said, Clomid? He said, yeah, it's being used in men to stimulate testosterone, because what it does, it tricks the pituitary into believing your estrogen is gone, and then it starts getting your LH and FSH to activate and stimulate the testes, Sertoli cells and Leydig cells to put out sperm and testosterone. Except the upside is you don't have to worry about DHT, so you won't go bald as fast. I said, well, that sounds exciting. He said, you want to try that? It's 25 milligrams every other day. I said, I don't think so. I think I'm going to let nature take its course and let's see what happens. It just seemed a little scary to me. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I just wanted to bring you all up to date. So I'm feeling kind of decent about that. Any comments, any feedback, any thoughts?
Why would a person take Clomid instead of simply supplementing testosterone?
Maybe because it's less risky in terms of stimulating metastasis.
That's what I'm hoping, that there's some angle there where those of us who are totally castrate can work around the risk to our cancers. But I never heard of it either.
Well, check it out. I've been using ChatGPT a lot, and they have good answers to that kind of stuff, you know. So you can ask that question. Maybe I'll ask it later. I hadn't thought about asking it. It's only been since last night. So it's a good question.
Got a question about a testosterone test. How do you tell the difference in testosterone that comes from the testicles or the adrenal glands? Is there a difference?
Better ask Dr. Paul. That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, I'm not aware you can make that differentiation. I've not ever run into the problem or the issue.
So
something else to ask Chat.
Right, so a testosterone of 10 could be coming from the adrenal glands. I know mine have been in the 30, 40 range now for about 8 months, because I think the testicles happen to give up the ghost after the 5 years ADT. So, okay, I was just curious.
You can, however, distinguish alkaline phosphatase that comes from bone versus liver.
Well, it's definitely not coming from the liver because my other parameters are all very, very low. You know, my bilirubin, my, SGLT, SGPT, all the LDH. So I think it's most likely something.
I wonder if Dr. Paul has any comment on those levels of ALK-Phos that we've been talking about.
Well, in the absence of any bone metastases, and at that level, which is still within normal range, not so, but it is something I think, it is a test that is often not mentioned or followed as carefully as it should with men with metastatic disease, because it is a marker of bone turnover, i.e. metastatic bone destruction. And so, but it has to be significant elevation and progressive.
Have you ever used the P1NP or the CDX to differentiate between anabolic or catabolic activity in the bone?
No, I have not.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
I do want to say, Dr. Jack, by and large, I think you're doing great.
Thank you. I feel after 22 years, it's been quite a journey, and I feel I'm okay right now.
Good, good, good.
Thanks.
Bob Schwartz, you are next.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to pass. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Bob. David Opp, it's your turn.
Okay. Excuse me. I was at Mayo Clinic last week for my 3-month labs and scans, and PSA came back undetectable, and the PSMA scan did not show any signs of cancer. So it's been 9 years since my prostatectomy and 31 months since the 18 bone mets were found, and I had been on Eligard and abiraterone that whole time. This past summer, about mid-June, I started getting uncontrollable sweating. They're not hot flashes, and it's not night sweats. This is in the daytime when I'm outside working. I will start sweating and it just pours. The only drug change that I made, the middle of April, we added levothyroxine to the medications I was taking. So possibly the combination of that, the Eligard, and the abiraterone might be the cause of this excessive sweating. But speaking with Dr. Kwan, I brought that subject up, and I've been trying for the past 6 months to get a drug holiday. So he did suggest stopping the abiraterone to see if that makes a difference. But we are continuing the prednisone until my next 3-month visit. And then we'll see if we taper off of that. And I'll meet with my primary in about 3 weeks to see if he has any suggestions on a different medication for the hypothyroidism that possibly can't create the sweating. Otherwise, I'm doing great.
Rick, what do you think?
I just want to clarify. The PSMA showed none of the lesions. Is that correct, David? It was clean.
Yes, it was clean.
Good. Okay, thanks.
Want to have thoughts for David?
David, have you had your TSH or T3, T4 tested since you went on levothyroxine?
The end of May was the last test. The next one is scheduled for 2 to 3 weeks from now. There's my next labs with my primary to check that, what that level is.
They were normal in May?
Yes. Yeah, they were there.
You haven't changed the dose?
No, it's still on that 25 micrograms was the initial dosage, which is, I guess, the lowest there is available.
Yeah. I was wondering if maybe you were getting too high a dose because excessive sweating is a symptom of hyperthyroid, not hypo, but if your levels were normal and you haven't changed the dose, I suppose it'd be something else.
And there's a possibility of cutting the pill in half and see what happens.
It'd be lab guided. It takes a long time after a dose change of that drug before you get a stable thyroid level. Maybe it was on the way up and it's just gone a little bit high, like Len suggests. So the important thing, I think, will be to get this new either TSH or T4 level in a couple of weeks. And then that'll be a clue whether the sweating has anything to do with your thyroid.
Yeah.
You think, Len?
So, you think?
Okay, thank you.
I was just thinking, what's your resting heart rate? And you check it, something basic to suggest
60s, mid 60s to 70.
Not too high.
For sure, report back to us your T4 TSH.
Yes, I can do that.
Given everything you said, it sure sounds like maybe the solution here is changing the dose for the levothyroxine.
Yeah.
It's a common side effect.
There are alternative drugs that can be used, but that's the more common one.
Again, what was the levothyroxine for?
Hypothyroidism.
Hypothyroidism, okay.
Yes, my TSH was like 5.8 when they started me on the levothyroxine. I'd have to check again what it was like 2 months later. But it had dropped down.
Doesn't really sound very high.
I think the range is 4 point something. for the high end, or just at 4?
Yeah, 4. To me, it's within my memory is 0.4 to 4 is quote the normal range, but you could be a little bit above 4. It would be normal. Interesting. Is there I didn't hear this earlier. Is there an endocrinologist in your drama?
No, there isn't right now. That may be a next step.
Who's prescribing this levothyroxine?
My primary care physician locally.
Yeah, I'd feel better if it was an endocrinologist answering these questions and talking about cutting the pill in half or not, because they prescribe it, every day.
Yeah. And they're more familiar having patients that are on Eligard and abiraterone also, and other medications.
Yes, that's also germane. Yes. Interesting.
But thank you. That's all I would have for this.
Okay.
One.
Thanks, David. And now to David M.
On to David M. Okay, hello everybody. So just following up with everybody from a couple of weeks ago when about the getting back on DARA and having my nipples very sensitive and possibly getting zapped by my rad onc at Northwestern. I went to see him. He was very concerned because I had surgery. I had a double mastectomy for my what's it called again when your boobs grow? I'm having a senior moment.
Yeah, gynecomastia.
Gynecomastia. So he spoke to the surgeon who did the gynecomastia surgery, and he's concerned. He's never radiated somebody who's had a mastectomy or gynecomastia surgery, so he's worried that he might do some damage. He doesn't think it'll do much damage, but he really wants me to see the surgeon that did the surgery to see if there's any breast tissue left before he radiates. And I just wanted to share that with you and see if there's any feedback. Hope all that made sense.
Can I ask the question? You say you're having mostly pain in the nipple area?
Yeah, just not your pain, soreness, and a little bit of swelling just around the nipple area, and I can feel behind the nipple that it's sensitive, but I don't feel like I felt before where I had breasts growing. That makes sense, Paul?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you my situation. I certainly experienced some kind of gynecomastia. I had radiation prior to starting at the time transdermal estradiol, which solved the enlarging problem, but not the periareolar tenderness and sensitivity. And fortunately, my next door neighbor was a plastic surgeon who did quite a bit of therapy for women post the numerous breast treatments and radiation they have for breast cancer. And one of the issues he emphasized is that you need to cut the T4 intercostal nerve, which innervates that area to solve the pain problem, which it did. So when you speak with your surgeon, ask him if that might be something that might help you. So it's not well published or spoken about, and I mentioned that it's more in the women's breast pain post mastectomy, partial mastectomy radiation literature. So you might ask that question about the T4 intercostal nerve as the source of the pain, or the way to relieve the pain, I should say, the pathway that's causing you the pain.
Did you have that done, Paul?
Yes.
And it worked?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that a permanent ablation, Paul? Is that a permanent ablation, or is that just a temporary thing that you have to read?
No, it's a section of the T4 intercostal.
Oh, they section. Oh, okay.
Yep.
They section it. They cut it up. Okay.
Cut it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome.
Thanks. John Maxwell is no longer, I think, here. Okay. Barry and Cynthia, it's your turn.
Hold on before you go to Barry and Cynthia.
Oh, I see raised hands. Yes.
You've got raised
Russell.
hands.
Yeah. Yes, I see, Rick.
And then I also want to say something about John Maxwell. So go to your raised hands, and then I'll say something quickly about John Maxwell.
Yes, with apologies, Dr. Russell.
Yes. It's not uncommon when you do nipple conserving surgery to either get too close, so you get all of the tissue that's underneath the nipple and compromise the blood supply of the nipple, or you get a little further and you leave breast tissue behind. So I think that would be the most common thing that, and I see the scenario that there's residual breast tissue under the nipple. I mean, that's the way it is. And that's why mastectomies were recommended years ago, because we were so concerned about leaving breast tissue under the nipple. And it's not uncommon for surgeries to be done for small lesions that were breast conserving or non-invasive or DCIS, and then years later have invasive cancer developing in the breast related to residual breast tissue left behind. So I know what Dr. Paul says, and I respect his opinion highly. But I would guess that there was residual breast tissue left behind. And so whether it's radiated or not, that's out of my bailiwick.
Got it. Thank you.
And Don Rogers, you had wanted to say something. Oh, you're on mute, John. Don.
Okay, here we go. David, I had real sensitive nipples, and I went to my sexual health doctor at the University of Miami, Bruce Cava, and he put me on this drug called anastrozole, which is used for women with breast cancer, 1 milligram twice a week, and within 3 weeks it was gone. It has really worked.
And you no longer take it.
Can you put the name of that drug in the chat window, please, Don?
Yes, I will. But it's just it's $27. It cost me $27 in my plan for 3 months, twice a week. So I take it on Fridays and on Tuesdays. And within 3 weeks of starting it, the nipple tenderness was erased, just gone.
Did you have gynecomastia at all, Don?
Yes, I do have the start of gynecomastia, but I think that this had stopped that too.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's a tamoxifen relative, and I'll have to look back at some of the issues with that, and I'll bring that to the table next time. But I would, Don, I know it's effective, but I think there was a little footnote that I need to investigate further.
It's an estrogen receptor blocker, isn't it, Dr. Paul?
I think it's a tamoxifen clone or similar to it. Yes.
So do you get hot flashes from taking that, Don? Because usually you would, taking an estrogen blocker.
Do not.
At least the women do. Maybe the men don't.
I do not. And it's my understanding it's what's called an aromatase inhibitor.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, wealth of information. And now, Rick, I have not forgotten you. You wanted to talk about John Maxwell.
Oh, well, I just wanted to thank John Maxwell, who has donated all the proceeds of Hammering Nails to AnCan during the month of September. You can take a look, please take a look in the reminder for all of the links, but that was just a thank you to John Maxwell on the record. I think it's also in the it's on YouTube and it's in the recording. So
okay, Jerry and Cynthia, you are the last of the evening.
Okay, well, this will only take about 3 hours. All I really want to do is say, first off, thank you to the group and especially to Tony Fig for recommending Dr. Guercio. I met with him last week and was impressed with him. And through the meeting I had with him last week, I've got a whole host of tests set up and an MRI scheduled. They're talking about ADT for 6 months, divided into 2 3-month injections. And I have a consult with a Dr. Liu, who is a radiation therapy. So that's an update on where I'm at.
He also got the promise test, and that's in the mail. And we also asked for baseline testosterone, and we asked for more inclusive hormone, not hormone, genetic workup, and we have an appointment for that.
Sounds like you're on it.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say it was a great meeting, and we just shot the moon with all the things that you guys shared with us, and it just felt good to get someone that was really willing to, be our quarterback, as you say. And we liked him just great. It was just an awesome meeting.
It's also nice to sit down with a doctor and ask intelligent questions. Again, thank you to this group.
So we did have a couple questions. One came up tonight about Quesodex. We can't remember what that was for. And is that something we need to ask for?
So if the decision is to put you back onto Lupron, which you haven't gotten to that point yet, isn't that correct?
Orgovyx versus Lupron, we're not sure.
Okay. If you go on the Orgovyx, it's not necessary. If you go on the Lupron, it is necessary.
Okay.
And so if you go on the Lupron, you want 10 to 15 days. Talk to your doc about 10 to 15 days as a buffer before the Lupron. If you go on the Orgovyx, which is frankly the better drug, you don't have to worry about it. They do the same thing, but they work in different ways.
Okay.
And they weren't sure about that because we asked, and they're checking out insurance. So that we already knew from the call here.
Okay.
What was the other things? The Lupron shot, that's just a shot to the hip. It's not an infusion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. The Lupron shot is going to go to the hip. They can also give you a drug called Firmagon, which is very similar to the Orgovyx, which will be in your belly. And that too does not require the bicalutamide. But if you go to Eligard or Zoladex or Lupron, you must get the bicalutamide first. That's standard of care. I'm not giving you medical advice. All the doctors, we've got too many doctors on this call right now. I'm not giving you the medical advice, but talk to your doc about it.
Okay.
See,
And what does the Casedex do again? It's just a buffer to do what? Less symptoms?
no. The way that the Lupron works, it causes a flare in the testosterone before it drops it.
Oh,
And so when you take the bicalutamide, it kind of coats your androgen receptors so that when you get that Lupron and the flare happens, it doesn't do any damage.
okay.
Otherwise, without the flare, it can do damage.
Makes total sense. Thank you.
Okay,
But the Orgovix and the Firmagon don't cause a flare. They directly shut off your testosterone.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're really happy that you like Dr. Guercio. I mean, Tony Fig is a stalwart in this group. And when Tony says he's a good guy, we believe him, right, Mr. Fig? Go on.
Tony.
That's right. My wife went with me to see him yesterday, and she was surprised at how young he is, but she was extremely impressed with his expertise, knowledge of all the subjects questions that we had, and he takes his time. He doesn't rush you through anything. And my wife got into some pretty technical, detailed questions about some recent CAT scans I had done and some pathology, and he really is excellent.
We're moving forward with him.
Did he discuss anything about radiation with you?
He gave us a consult with Dr. Lou. And we don't know him, so I don't know anything about him. Do you?
No, I don't.
Who have you seen? Have you seen anybody at Wilmot for radiation as a radonc, Tony?
Yeah, Kevin Byland.
You might go back to Guercio and ask if you can see Kevin Byland based on Tony Figg's great recommendations.
Okay.
Better the devil we know than the devil we don't know. And how do you spell? Is it Bylund?
Yes. And I was referred to him by Dr. John Joseph, who's the chair of the urology at U of R. And he's been very highly regarded in the area.
Well, we have an appointment with Dr. Lou on the September 30th, and I'm already pushing things off.
What we'll do, I'll ask in the medical chart and we'll see what we can come up with. I would rather stay with someone that Tony Fig recommends.
Or that Dr. Guercio recommends.
I think Dr. Guercio said he may be doing 6 months of ADT and then doing radiation. So the radiation part is not necessarily a big emergency from what I understood at this time.
Yeah, the only thing to make you aware of is once you see a guy, it's sometimes very hard in the same organization to switch to another guy who has the specialty.
Yes, Rick, good point. Thank you.
I know you had some reluctance about getting into radiation, so the getting on the ADT is good to give you a little breathing room and not have to worry about spreading.
Yes.
Yeah, we're feeling much more positive now. No more deer in the headlights. So we're very thankful. Thank you, everyone. Really, it's been amazing. It's been a miracle. Thank you.
Dan, your hand is up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned Casedex. It should be you use in conjunction with Lupron.
It should be used. It should be used before you take, not with it. Although some doctors may prescribe it with it, it should be used before you take Lupron.
Now, I've been taking Lupron for a while, and I've never been surprised that I prescribed Casedex. Should I be concerned?
No. Did they give you the Casedex before you took the Lupron?
Never used it.
Okay, well, that might be what you should have been concerned about, but if you've been on the Lupron for a while, you don't have to worry. But the standard, the standard of care, if you're going to give Lupron to a man that you know has metastatic disease, is to give Casedex first. A lot of doctors overlook it.
Right. And how do you spell that?
But you don't need to worry because you don't need it now unless you want to ask your doctor why he didn't give it to you. But it's
No, my concern is like I just recently became metastatic, and well, I don't need it because it's my first shot of Lupron since I become metastatic.
okay. Well, once you became metastatic and you were and they were considering to give you Lupron, you should have gotten bicalutamide for 10 to 15 days before your first shot. If you didn't, you need to be questioning whether you're with the right doctor. And
Okay.
we'll do an intake with you, and we can cover that, Dan, with there. But I don't know. Again, I can't give you medical advice, and I don't know if Dr. Paul's dropped off yet or he hasn't dropped off yet. But it drives me a little nuts when when these doctors do not do that, when they give you what's called an agonist LHRH, and they don't give you the Lupron first. To me, it's malpractice, because if something happened, they'd have a big problem.
Dr. Russell, what do you think?
You're muted, Dr. Russ.
Yes, no, I agree totally, Rick. I mean, I can't believe that somebody wouldn't do that, because the mechanism of action of the Lupron is initially to stimulate the pituitary to produce more FSH and GH that increases the androgen level, which is what you don't want for prostate cancer. So the Casedex prevents that flare related to that initial outburst of excess androgen. So I agree. I can't. Well, I'm so as a physician, I'm so distraught at inconsistencies of the care that we give related to something that should be so standardized, and the protocols are out there. But, like for Dan, why didn't he get it initially is sort of unbelievable.
Yeah, it happens so, I don't want to say it happens so often, but it happens frequently. And our response to that is, if your doctor forgot to give you the Casedex before he gave you the Lupron, or she gave you the Lupron shot, you need to change that doctor right away, because they don't understand prostate cancer and they really don't know what they're doing. It's just, to me, it's inexcusable. It happens that in some places that there's a certain major HMO, very popular out west. I won't name names. Also in Virginia, that does that all the time, and it's just wrong and dangerous. And one of these days, somebody's going to have a collapsed spine from the Lupron, and they're going to get sued, and it won't happen again after that.
The Casedex is spelled Casidex.
No, Let me put it in but you don't need it now, Dan.
Yeah, but I was going to question him about it.
Okay, it's Casedex. I just put it in the chat window. And where are you getting your care?
New York and New York Oncology Hematology.
Yeah, well, that's the bloody problem with a lot of these community care oncologists. You're probably not seeing somebody who's a GU specialty med onc, and they don't know about that, and they should have known. Anyway, it's getting late. I know Ben wants to go. I am happy to do an intake with you now, Dan, and anybody else, if you would like to do it. It may just be you and me talking together at the end, but that's how it's going to be. Or if you want to come back next week, we can do it next week.
I'll do it now.
You want to do it now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ben, you're off the hook. I'm going to do, I promised I would do this. I am happy to do it. Unless, of course, you'd like to. I don't want to take this privilege away from you as the lead moderator tonight.
I will. I'll be able to catch up with it when I listen to the recording tomorrow for the notes.
Oh, you know what? I've run out of intake. I've only got second page of intake forms. That's terrible.
Okay. Well,
no, it's okay, because I'll write on the back of the second page, and I'll keep one of the other ones in front of me, and I'll just make my notes. You know, you have to be able to improvise in this business. Okay, so gents, we're going into phase 2. I know a lot of people are signing off. A few of you are hanging in with me. Thank you very much. And it looks like Dan's the only newbie left. The others have gone. So, Dan, what's your last name?
Moore, Moore.
Oh, that's an easy one. Okay. And do we have are you already getting our reminders?
Yes.
Okay, so you're signed up with us.
Yeah.
Are you a veteran?
I am.
Okay, do you know about our veterans groups?
Yeah, but I don't know tell me if if that group would be good for me, because I'm a veteran. I spent 4 years in. I just worked on the flag line for 4 years, and then I got discharged. No Vietnam, none of that.
Okay, you are going to have to attend a veterans group to find out, because I ain't the expert. Captain Jim has left already. He probably went to Veterans Speaking Freely, which is a good way. You're very welcome. And I'm not technical enough to know, but he will tell you in a heartbeat. Okay. So make sure you go to one of those vets groups, and I will make sure you get an invitation, and you may well be, but I don't know. And then the other issue is, if you are eligible, get dual enrolled. Register at the VA, because the drugs can be way, way cheaper getting them through the VA than they are getting them through your insurance.
Okay.
Now, how old are you, Mr. Moore?
72.
Okay, looking good, may I add. And where do you live?
Schenectady, New York.
I know where that is. Okay. When were you first diagnosed?
Around 2011, I would say. I didn't keep good notes until I got my prostate removed. So that was 2000.
Okay, so let's just say 2000. Let's just say, for argument's sake, 2011. Do you remember what your Gleason score was when you got diagnosed?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, that's going to be kind of important.
Right.
So if you don't have that, I would urge you to contact your doctor's office from that time and ask them to provide you with that information.
Yeah, I was going to go through my records, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't have that I'm going to look for.
So ask them for it, and also ask them for the surgery report.
Okay.
Okay, do you remember what your PSA was?
I don't. Well, let me see. Let me take a look here.
Don't worry about it. The PSA is a lot less important.
Yeah, I just started documenting it in 2000.
Where did you get? Where was the urologist where you got treated?
At Ellis Hospital. That was the urologist, and my regular urologist was in Schenectady. He was Doctor.
Okay, don't worry about it. But it was a radonc. So what? But you said that you had surgery, did you not?
Yes, robotic.
Okay, so you had an RRP. So you had a robotic radical prostatectomy in 2011.
No, that was in 2013.
Okay, so you watched this disease for 2 years before it got to a point where you needed the surgery, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then you had the surgery, and what was the result of that surgery?
Result that my PSA went to like 0 point something, some
Yeah.
number.
And so then why did you need to see the radiation oncologist?
I don't know. I don't know. They assigned a radiation oncologist, and I don't remember actually.
Okay.
And then
I mean, did your you had the surgery in 2013? Did your PSA start to climb after that?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you remember how high it got before you went to see the radiation oncologist?
I don't.
Okay.
I
But
don't.
you needed to see a radiation oncologist, and do
No.
you have any records from that?
No.
Okay, so again, encourage you to get hold of your radonc and ask him to send you the records. So you'll get your surgery report, and then from the report on the radiation and what they exactly did and what they radiated. At the time, do you remember what year you did the radiation?
I have my first dose was 2019.
Okay, so it took quite a while before the PSA climbed up, and you needed right. And what made you think you needed that? Because your PSA was going up and up and up.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
In 2019, the first time I started documenting it, I was after I had radiology, the radiology. Yeah.
Okay. And where did you get that radiation? Which hospital did you say?
Ellis.
Ellis. Is that up in Schenectady?
It is.
Yeah. And did they give you hormone therapy?
At that point, yes, they did. Lupron.
Okay. For how long? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I think it was initially 3 months.
Okay. So this is all making sense. So you're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened after you had that radiation and the 3 months of Lupron in 2019? Because now you don't have an excuse, man, because you're keeping notes now.
Right. My PSA kept going up, so I'd have radiation, then it drop down, and then in like November last year, it shot up to a high number. No, yep, they shot it to a high number, and let's see.
How high is high?
Let me see, Lupron, 89.
Yeah,
That
that's a
was,
high number. And
yeah.
had it
Yeah.
been creeping up, or did it go from like 2 or 3 to 89 suddenly, or not?
Starting from March 23rd, it was 0.07. Then in May was 0.05. And then in October, it was less than 0.008. And
What year is this? 2024? You're giving me these numbers?
23.
23?
Yep. And then in December 23, I went to New York Oncology Hematology. It was 0.05. And then it was in March, it was 0.05. And then April was 0.075. And then let's see, in June it was 0.32. So I must have had then I must have had the went to the oncologist radiologist in New York Oncology. And June 24 was 0.302. So I must have had radiation between June and July because it dropped down to 0.0010.
Okay. And so did they do a PSMA test and find that you
I
had
don't,
some metastasis? Why did they do
don't know.
the radiation?
I think I had a PET scan
Yes.
and probably at December 24. My PSA was 89 then, and then they found out that I had it had metastasized in my collarbone, and before that, it was metastasized in my what do you call those things? The little nodules, they go all the way over
In the
lymph
lymph
nodes.
nodes?
Yeah, lymph nodes, and it had metastasized there.
Okay, so when it was in June 2024, when it was 0.32, that's when you got radiation on the lymph nodes?
Yes, I must have. Yep.
Okay. And then it went up again, and they found on the scapula, on the collarbone, they found metastasis. And what did they do? Did they do more radiation?
No, once they found it had metastasized in my collarbone, the scapula, then I had a PET scan, and then they did genetic testing on me and prescribed me with the Lupron, abiraterone,
Abiraterone. Yep.
and prednisone.
Okay. So all of that makes sense, except that when they gave you that, this was right at the beginning of this year, then I'm assuming, like January of 25, they gave you the Lupron and the Abi and the prednisone.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Is that right?
No, about January 25. It was between January and February.
Right. So that's when they should have given you. That's when they should have given you the Casedex before
Right.
they gave you that Lupron.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God you're fine. You're doing good, which is great. We're very happy for that. But they blew it. Now, what we would say is, where's this New York Oncology office?
Oncology, it's in Clifton Park.
Okay, which I don't know, but I'm assuming that that's relatively close to
Schenectady.
Yeah. I mean, this is the point where we would say you're with the wrong doctor. You need to get yourself to a center of excellence at either which means you're going to have to go into the city, which ain't so bad because you can take the train and you can take a nice walk. You need to shift your care if you can to either Memorial Sloan Kettering or Weill Cornell. We would suggest Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Okay, because I had previously I had an epithelioid sarcoma in my chest. I was treated at Dana-Farber, and they did an excellent job. I went back for a second opinion at Dana-Farber, and they told me, well, what their treatment plan was what they would do. You said
that would, yes, they would have done it, but they would have given you the Casodex first.
Right.
Okay, that's what bothers me, because it's not that the treatment plan now is bad, but it's that if this disease progresses and goes off in another direction, are they going to know what to do? If you're at Dana-Farber and if you want to go back to Dana-Farber, that's great. And, we can help you find. Do you remember who the doctor was you saw at Dana-Farber?
I do. Put his name down. Dr. Zagar, I believe it was.
That's not someone we know, and we know a bunch of docs there, but
no, that's not him. It was what was his name? I should have went down and got my phone. All that information is in it. Hold on one second. I'll be able to tell you.
All right. I wouldn't worry, because, to be honest, if you're in Schenectady, to go up to Boston to get treated is an awful long way. And if you're willing to go to Boston to talk to them, you're just as good going into the city.
Right.
And we would say shift your care now to one of the doctors in MSKCC in the city. We'd rather see you go in the city than to Westchester, because the doctors in the city are generally a higher level of experience. And I would probably send you two choices: either Dr. McHugh, MCHUGH, I'll put it in the chat window for you, or Dr. Rathkopf, that's Ben's doctor, or Karen, what's her last name? It begins with an A. Larry Fisher's dropped off, so he can't give me a prompt. Let me just, damn it here. Audio. I didn't need to do it. AUTIO. All right, let me put those all in the. So you've got Dr. McHugh. All right. Ooh, I didn't spell that quite right. I left the M off. Dr. McHugh, Dr. Radcott, who we like very much. We've been working with her for many, many years. Dr. Audio is another one. She's seen a bunch of our guys for a while. So those are three names for you: Dr. McHugh, Dr. Rathkopf, or Dr. Audio, and tell them that you're T4 metastatic with lesions on your bone. You've been seeing New York Oncology, but you'd like to shift your care to Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Okay.
All three, I think you'll find are good. I believe they all know AnCan.
Okay.
And that's what I would suggest, rather than staying with the doc, with whoever you're seeing, where we had an issue and they didn't follow standard of care, and it didn't hurt you, but it could have hurt you.
Right.
because what we're hearing is you're not seeing a specialized oncologist for prostate cancer, and you need to be seeing a special oncologist for prostate cancer.
Okay. Okay. All right. And Casedex. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna review my records to make sure I wasn't given Casedex before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And even if you were, if you're not seeing a specialized genitourinary medical oncologist, let me put that in the chat window for you because it's a bit of a mouthful. We abbreviate it to GU, genitourinary GU medical oncologist. If you're not seeing a specialized genitourinary medical oncologist, if you're seeing a generalist, it's not a great idea, as the gents on this call will all tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you had any genetic testing of any sort?
Yes. Yes, I did.
What have you had?
I don't remember.
Did they check to see if you inherited anything from your parents?
Yeah, I did check it, but I was never told the results of it.
Okay, we need to find it out.
Okay.
Did either of your parents have cancer?
No, my uncle did. My father's uncle.
And what sort of cancer did he have?
Prostate cancer.
Okay. But any on any of the women in your family have any cancer?
Yes, my aunt had breast cancer.
Okay. So we want to make sure that you're not carrying a mutation, and that from your, when you say your aunt, was that a blood aunt or was that a, yes?
Yeah, blood.
So if you had a blood aunt who had breast and you had an uncle who had prostate, we want to be sure. So we just need to make sure you need to get those results. I suspect they're negative, otherwise they would have reached out to you, but you want to be sure.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, I would say that, with just one metastasis or two metastases on your scapula, on your collarbone, they're giving you the right treatment. How are you managing with that treatment?
Fairly just the exhaustion. That's the only thing that kind of bothers me, But I found out another chat group that I need to get plenty of rest, eat right, and get exercise. So I've been doing that. That's been helping a bit.
The exercise is hugely, hugely important. Yes, getting rest. Yes, eating right. But even more so, you've got to do that exercise. Even if you feel like you don't have the strength to do it, you got to do the exercise. Every guy in this group will tell you that, right? And that exercise has to be a mix of aerobic and weights.
Right. Because I've been doing like water aerobics.
Good.
Yeah, and then my physical therapist, I'm doing the weights with physical therapy.
Fantastic, but you got to keep up those weights, okay?
All right.
Really, really important to do the weights and to do the exercise. You can talk to the guys about it. They'll give you all the information in next week or what have you, but that is what's going to alleviate the fatigue.
Okay.
All right. How are you doing with hot flashes?
They're not as bad as they were in the beginning.
Right.
I have them, but then they're, you get them at night. That's when they're most severe, like that. But they're not like they used to be.
Okay. Well, we have a little gizmo that some of the guys wear on their wrist. and there is a night setting on that, and that helps them a lot to get better sleep during the night. It's called Ember, EMBR, the Ember Watch. And again, come back and ask the guys about that. They'll all hold up their wrists. I don't know if we don't have too many gents left, but I don't know if anybody has an Ember Watch on. But you can get them from Costco. If they don't work, you can send them back.
Right.
But they work for a lot of people. Ember Watch.
Mhm.
And there've been trials, and they really do work. They're solid.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't have any. Does anybody else, Steve or Frank or Dr. Russ, Bob, Robert, anybody want to say anything to Dan as to what's been going on? Don't all jump up at once. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Russ.
Well,
Thank you.
I think your recommendations are that one, Dan needs to be more proactive about what's going on with his life and his treatment. And
Yep.
I agree 100% with your recommendation that even though I don't pronounce it the same way you do, he needs to see a genitourinary oncologist for sure, and move on. Get on the train and get it, and stay with this group, and
Right.
they'll help you out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Who? Oh, Frank. Hello, Frank.
How's everybody doing?
We're all
So
doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just finished my seventh. I mean, I ended up doing the Pluvicto. I'm recovering well. I'm going back swimming tomorrow. I did the Pluvicto Wednesday, but I just wanted to tell Dan that you're not alone. Like, if it wasn't for my wife being a nurse, I'd be lost in the woods too. You know what I mean? I'm just a typical dude. But it is real important to follow up on all this stuff and be really on top of it. And like I said, I'm not that dude, but thank God I got a good wife. And
Right.
so yeah, the dietary is really important. Like and the exercise. Like I went to show up for my seventh Pluvicto. This is what my wife said. I'm probably the only guy in the world that has cancer, and I tore my hamstring swimming the day before I did my seventh Pluvicto.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
walked into the hospital and I couldn't even walk. And they were offering me a wheelchair. And I'm like, get that wheelchair out of my face. I, I ain't going on no wheelchair. So anyway, it's all about attitude, man. It's about, never
Right.
give up. That's the bottom line. And you're not dying from cancer. You're living with cancer, brother.
Right.
That's all. That's what I'm going to tell you, man. Good night.
Right.
Thank you. God
Right.
bless you, man.
Right. And I always thought that I was up on my care and everything, but then people start mentioning stuff that I didn't know about. I said, I don't know anything, So, I'm glad I felt I happened out through.
Right. And I just want to tell you, we pay Frank a big retainer, so he comes on this group every week, and he gives people the encouragement,
Yes.
So
So every time I speak up, I do prison ministry. I'm always like on the street
Right.
encouraging people. I come in here and I always walk away thinking I'm like this biggest fool, like everybody hates me. So
Yeah.
that's probably a good thing because it keeps me buffered and keeps me humble,
and
And
we have to
anyway,
write and tell him, no, we love you, Frank, and it's true. Right, Frank?
yeah,
Don't
I
we do
I get
that?
that. I know. Yeah,
Um,
that's just my own. Those are my own personal demons. But I mean, I'm good to go. Thank you very much, and I'm
yeah,
so
and
so blessed.
Right.
Yeah.
he,
Yeah.
All right, man. God
and
bless you.
Yeah.
he's a New York City refugee as well, by the way, Dan. So,
Yeah, I
um,
lived on 131st Street and Madison Avenue when I was 15 years old. I don't know if you know anything about that neighborhood, but that's the heart of Harlem. I survived it. I lived in abandoned buildings in Brooklyn, bro, when I was like, I was homeless on the streets of New York from the age of like realistically 17 to like 23, but I've been drug free for 42 years. I have 5 children, 12 grandchildren. I mean, the accolades are just amazing.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
is.
just
You're
so
not anything. Yes, sir.
so
Yes.
thankful. So cancer
Yes.
is a bump in the road for me. You know,
Yeah.
boom, there you go. There you have it.
And go on, Bob.
Good night.
You can follow. Can you follow on from that, Bob?
No, no, but I'm just going to give you my little piece of stick here. Dan, I want to tell you right now, one of the best things to do, even though you sat through this meeting tonight, go watch the video when it's out there and see the replay of this. You might even learn something just by watching that. There's things you'll miss meetings. Go back and look at the past videos. There's so much important information here. It's unbelievable. And you'll see Frank on all these other ones. He emphasizes the same thing. He's serious. He knows what he's talking about. You're talking about people here that went through these experiences. You know, they're not telling you they read it just, from some book. They're not academia. They're academia plus experience. So you get real world knowledge here. And I'll tell you right now, you got the best guru there is in Rick. When he says something, listen to it. Even I had a hard time at first because he wanted me to go to a certain doctor and I was resistant to it. And I went in there with a negative attitude and I couldn't believe how it turned out. And I have to now, it's just like my wife, it's a losing bet all the time. So why argue with him?
Right. Yeah. Thank
I had a
you.
bad doctor too in the beginning. We all did, I think. And then I took Rick's advice and got me a GU oncologist. And so anyway,
All
good
right.
place.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Well, look, I will write you up and I'll make sure all the other moderators see what I write up and keep coming back, Dan. The
I
meetings are a
will.
little confusing. The Monday meetings start at 8 o'clock Eastern and the Tuesday meetings start at 6 o'clock Eastern. So that can fool you. But keep on coming back and, become an AnCanner, get yourself a t-shirt. Look, no one's even wearing a bloody t-shirt today. Oh my God. Get yourself a t-shirt or a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And
Let me say this. I've been puking for the last 3 days, right? But I ain't crying.
no, listen, I'm pleased you're back on treatment and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you and come on in next week and we'll all teach you. And I don't know what's going. You're right. Mark isn't here.
Yes, how's
I'm
Mark?
making a note, Mark Valens, and I am making a note to check on him in the morning, or I'll send him an email and make sure he's all right. So thanks.
Yeah, I sent him an email and I hope it made him feel a little better. I haven't heard anything back, so I wasn't going to push it, because I didn't have a close connection with him.
Yeah.
I didn't catch his email address last week. I tried to.
It's Valens. It's very easy. valensmark@aol.com. But I'll put it in the chat window for you again right now.
I got it. I was going Mark Valens at
Yes, that
AOL.
was my bad. That was my bad. I put it in wrong. So don't blame
So
yourself.
it's Valens Mark.
valensmark@aol.com.
All right, I'll remember that.
Okay. Mark with a C. All right. And
Thank
we'll
you very
follow
much.
up and we'll see what's happening. Okay, gents. Is it soup
Flying
yet?
out to Virginia Beach this weekend to see my grandkids.
All right. Good man. All right. We love that.
Going to hang out with some bad boys this weekend. Anyway, anyway.
I think Dr. Paul lives in Virginia Beach. I have to find out. Well, you're probably going to be too busy to have time to meet with him for a cup of coffee. Yes, Dr. Russ.
Yeah, Dr. Paul is in Norfolk.
Oh, Norfolk. Okay,
Well, he
close enough
was.
to government work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I hope you have a fabulous time, Frank.
And by the way, how do you get a T-shirt?
Oh, if you go to ancan.org, and we've got, I'll have to tell you where it is. Hold on a minute. Under support us, there's an option to go to the shop.
Okay.
And
I'll
when
find
you go to the shop, you can pick a t-shirt or a sweatshirt in many colors. We are soon, I hope, going to a new website, and then you'll be able to get coffee cups and caps and this and that and the other. But right now, we want people buying the t-shirt. We make very little money off of it, but it's great advertising. It says "Be your own best advocate" across the bottom, and we want you to wear them when you go in to get your treatment.
All right. Okay.
Right. All right,
Night.
guys. I'm closing out. Good night, everybody. Take care. Dan. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.